It's fine. It's fine. Hey guys, I'm the Film Fan, and welcome back to another video. This weekend, A Quiet Place 2 finally drops in theaters after what feels like I don't even know anymore. It's been forever. But I checked it out, and let's talk about it. If you're new around here, I'm the Film Fan. I do movie reviews, rankings, trailer reactions, etc. If you like that sort of thing, I'd love if you could subscribe, like the video, and comment what you'd like to see me do next. And without further ado, let's get into this. So, following the events at home, the Abbott family now face the terrors of the outside world. Forced to venture into the unknown, they realize the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sand path. So, I saw the original for the first time earlier this year, and it absolutely blew me away. I'm not typically a massive horror movie fan, but A Quiet Place has to be one of my absolute favorites of the genre. The vibe, the atmosphere, and the cherry on top of all of it, the emotional storyline with the characters and the family, made for one of my favorite films in the last decade. After having seen the original, the sequel quickly became one of my most anticipated films of the year. This time I would get to see it in theaters and experience the world of this film the way it was intended, and I checked it out tonight. What did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somewhere in between? Let me know. Did you think this film lived up to the original, or do you think it was a big disappointment? Without further ado, this is my review of A Quiet Place Part 2. And let's start off with the good, and I'm just going to cut to the chase with this one. I really loved this movie. I thought it absolutely lived up to the first one, and might even be slightly better. It takes everything the first one did so well, so excellently, and raises it to the next level. Maybe it's just the theatrical experience enhancing it this time, but everything about it seemed to improve. The directing, the cinematography, the sound design, it all steps up a notch. I'll start with the obvious thing. You are horrified throughout this one and on the edge of your seat every single second of this film. Even when it slows down a little, you know something's not right. Every time you hear the slightest little sound, you're panicking. This world is already established now, and so you know exactly how it works, so this one just decides to go all out with it. When someone even takes the slightest little step, you're so worried they're gonna step on a leaf and crunch it, or run into a stick or something like that. It's such a stressful experience, and one you're definitely going to remember. This one also expands on the world of the original very well and continues the story in a compelling way. This one looks at how the family is holding up after the events of the house and how they are dealing with John Krasinski's character's death. Emily Blunt is technically the lead, I guess, but in a way she's sort of sidelined, and actually the daughter character takes a bit of spotlight. She has much more to do in this movie and goes on her own storyline with Cillian Murphy. Speaking of which, Cillian Murphy is a great addition. I don't know if I've seen him in anything other than Batman Begins and this, of course, but in that one he showed his talent very clearly, and he is fantastic in this. He's actually much more important than I expected him to be, and he has quite a lot of standout moments. You also have Evelyn, or Emily Blunt, and her son on the other end of all this doing their thing. They have quite a lot of great scenes, especially towards the end. This film also finds all the right moments, too, to just really make you feel the weight of what's going on and the emotional undercurrent. As I said before, you have a lot more of the world being expanded upon. The first film was really just about this one family alone in one home on the run from one monster. In this film, you're introduced to a lot more people and the types of groups out there dealing with the monsters. There are plenty of more locations, and there are more monsters hunting people everywhere. We also learn a lot more about how we can eventually move past the fear and the horror of the creature in the safe place everyone can evacuate to and survive. We start to see how maybe there's a brighter future ahead for the Abbotts. In general, this is sort of like If A Quiet Place was Alien, this is Aliens, although it's still very horror-based, of course. And then, you also get a bit of origin story. You get some flashbacks to seeing when this disaster first started, and start to see how all that played out, with Krasinski himself cameoing, of course, in that. John Krasinski does a great job directing. I know I said that wrong, be quiet. And you can really see how he has improved as a filmmaker in this one. The visuals are really great, the VFX never looked bad, and the editing along with the sound design is nothing short of phenomenal. This film does absolutely no wrong in the technicals. Finally, one last thing. I went to this one slightly worried it was going to be filled with unnecessary callbacks and whatnot, but it actually avoids that pretty well. It manages to be its own thing and not rely on the original. It uses a lot of the same bag of tricks and amplifies them to a whole new level. Put it all together in another fantastic horror film in this franchise. It's another great A Quiet Place movie. I'm so excited for the third one since it leaves it sort of open-ended. But no film is really perfect, and so let's move into the bad. And the only thing I can really say is that the ending is super abrupt. The first film's ending was a little off too, but at least it felt like it ended on a proper final moment, if not a great one. When the credits rolled, I was slightly surprised that it ended so quickly. I feel like they could have done a little bit more to make that final moment really feel like a final moment, so that didn't just come out of nowhere. Other than that, I don't really have any problems with this film, and this one isn't even that big of one. So, moving to our conclusion, and the final verdict to me is A Quiet Place Part 2 is a fantastic sequel. It's just as well, if not better directed, intense, shot, and acted. It does just as good of a job with the character stuff and expands upon the world of the original in a great way. I might actually prefer this film to the original, which I am very happy to say. If you could see this one in theaters, I absolutely, with no question about it, no doubt, would do it. If you can't, make sure to see it on the biggest and loudest screen possible. This is an amazing movie and one of the best of the year. It's a must-watch in my book. I'm going to give it an A and a 9.5 out of 10, and this is a must-see, as I said. You gotta see this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad you stick to if you stick to the end, thank you so much. Subscribe to this channel if you could, like the video. Once again, comment what kind of videos you'd like to see me do. Follow me on Letterboxd if you could. I'll link my account in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.